Hi guys, welcome to a new Cartalk vlog on my BMW 116d. Today this video will probably the last video you will ever see on this specific car. As it's a company car, the lease has run out. Actually, I'm quite a bit late with handing it in, as the lease did run out a few months ago already, and they now really want to have their car back. So the day after tomorrow I'll hand in this 116d, and then this episode, or this chapter, or no, this book will be closed on the 116d. And the reason why it took me a few months, or I'm so much over time handing this car in, is because I just had some trouble to let it go, and there's currently really no cheaper or no alternative for me compared to this car. If I'd have the same 116d as a new company car, it would cost me 160 euros more a month. So that's not really an alternative. But I'll get back to you later when on what's going to be next. Of course, I won't be taking the train or public transportation to work. I'll get a different car, but I'll talk about that one later. Anyhow, this car was actually one of the last Efficient Dynamics editions built, at least for the BMW 116d Efficient Dynamics Edition. They cancelled that specific edition in the summer of 2017 because it was too low in demand compared to the regular 116d. So this one is, well, I'm not going to say it's the last one of the production line, but it was at least in the last weeks that this one was produced. So on this specific car, it was built in June of 2017. And it was also around those weeks that the Efficient Dynamics edition of the BMW 1 Series was cancelled. So this one is probably one of the last ones of the production lines. At least it's not the last one, but one of the last weeks in which it was produced. So it was built in 2017. It was then delivered to a colleague of mine who ordered the car and drove it for the first 2 years. And in September 2019, this car, this 116d, came to me, and then it had run 109,000 kilometers. As you can see, we're now at 212,000 kilometers, which means I've done about, let me see, almost, or round about 103,500 kilometers myself. And as I mentioned, the car was delivered to me in September 2019. And well, it's now basically 3 years later. So I had the car for 1102 days, which amounts to 185 weeks, 36 months, or basically 3 years and a few days. I think 3 years and 1 week I had this car. And as I mentioned, I drove well over 103,000 kilometers during that time. I've used 4,886 liters of diesel fuel, which amounts to a consumption of about 4.7 liters on 100 kilometers, and with an average fuel cost of 7 euro cents per kilometer. And then the lowest consumption I had on this car was 3.76 liters on 100 kilometers. Well, then I was just driving 100 kilometers an hour at most, and did around 1,200 kilometers on one tank. And the highest consumption I had was 6.24 liters, and it was when I was in Germany and just drove it pedal to the metal. Anyhow, those were the numbers. 3 years and well over 100,000 kilometers. I guess I'm entitled to have a good opinion on the car. And still, I mentioned it before, the reason why I got it is the fun, or the fun driving it, even with the small engine. I enjoyed every minute of driving this car. There were really the right options on this car. Although the thing I'd configured differently myself was this one has 17-inch alloy wheels. I would have gone for the standard 16-inch alloy wheels. And as you can see, it doesn't have the seat heating, and that one would be much appreciated if it had one. But to be fair, to be really honest, I didn't think, but I could live without the seat heating in this car. And the other thing I'd have done differently is to get the auto dimming blinding rear view mirror, because this one is the manual dimming rear view mirror, which does annoy at times. And another thing is, if it's moist outside, the car has only the standard rear view mirrors without any heating, so it takes quite some time until they're clean, although you could have cleaned them yourself, the mirrors. But for the rest, to be fairly honest, I mean, the M steering wheel, I absolutely love the steering wheel. You can get it also in the 3 series, in the 5 series, and probably some different ones. So that was a very good investment of the previous owner. I really love the automatic climate control. I dislike the standard climate control because it's just looks too cheap to handle, although probably it does its work quite well. We have the standard or the business sat nav, which is sufficient with the Bluetooth. Here you have the M gear stick, which comes with the leather steering wheel, which is very much appreciated. And this car had sports seats. So if you take that all together, I mean, those were the right options to get this car with. So you don't have a full option car, but you choose the right ones to have something you can have fun with. Although I say the 3-cylinder engine is a bit raw and it lacks a bit of power, but okay, that's what I signed up for when I got this car. I knew it beforehand. I think the 118 diesel with round about 150 horsepower, and which is a 4-cylinder engine, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I think that's a better choice. Then you have the optimum trade-off between fuel economy and performance. So yeah, but do I regret having driven this car for 3 years? Absolutely not. Just let's go outside and see how the condition of the car is from the outside. So here we have the outside of the car. It's the standard equipment vehicle, so there's no sports package or whatever included. But what was configured quite well was the LED headlights. I mean, the LED headlights do give the car a bit of better appearance, as the LED fog lights, because then it doesn't look that empty. And as I just mentioned, I could have done with the 16-inch alloy wheels, but okay, the 17-inch do look a tad better. So if you also look at it from an optical point of view, the car still looks a bit nicer than the standard spec, at least according to my opinion. Although I might have used the chrome line exterior myself as an extra, but anyhow, I mean, I always like to look at this car, and it has the black metallic paint actually. So I'll put in the description and in the video a link to the damages I had with this car, not caused by myself actually, and those have been repaired. So if I'm just looking around at this car where it does show its age, here if you look at the rims, you can see all these kinds of things letting go, and I've seen that this happens more often with these kinds of rims. There's maybe a tad of damage here, but for the rest, yes, I know the car is dirty. Here you can see it, it's on all 4 rims, this that it's letting go. And that's basically the only damage you have on this car. And of course you can see that the headlights, they do have some stone chips, and they are a bit sandblasted, but for the rest there isn't too much on damage on this car. And I still like the 1 Series, the F20 generation, better than the current 1 Series. So that's basically all the damage I can show you. But let's go to the back. There's a minor spot there, which there already was when I got the car. So we're here at the back of the car. And the only damage which there is on this car, at least which I know of, is this dent and paint chip here. It was already on there when I got the car, and so I have no idea how it got there, and I didn't mind, to be honest. But that's the only exterior damage, and of course you'd have to rework the wheels. That's the only damage this car seems to have, and as I've said, which I'm aware of. But for the rest, this car is in a quite okay condition, and I really hate to let it go. So you probably are wondering what will be next. Well, what will be next? It's going to be another company car, of course. So then the question is, what will be next after this car, as I'm obviously not going to use public transportation to get to work, which would basically also cost me hours more each day. So when this car was produced in 2017, diesel was still quite big in company cars, at least here in the Netherlands. But diesels are really expensive now. If you compare the price difference between a diesel and a petrol powered car in the Netherlands, it's a leasing price difference of 150 euros. So that means you drive a completely different car if you say my budget is, well, any amount of money. So it will be a petrol car, and I already know it. It's which car it will be. It will be an automatic car. It won't be a new car also, as what I'm going to use is a flex pool of the leasing company. And the flex pool means that not like traditionally you take out a lease on a new car for a few years, but the flex pool is a pool which every day receives new vehicles, so you can change basically if you choose a new car or a different car, they will deliver it to you and you'll have to keep it for at least 30 days, but then you can change it for everything else you'd like in the pool. So I'm quite attracted to that system. It reminds me a bit of the early days, now almost more than 10 years ago, which also started with the channels when I was getting my cars not from a leasing company, but I did a lot of rental cars then for weeks, and then just got a different rental car. So I changed cars basically every few weeks then. That's why I got so many different cars on this channel. And I'm going back with the flex pool to also a kind of similar arrangement in which I can change cars just as I like. If I need a wagon, I can get a wagon. If I need something different or something cheaper just to save money, that's fine. Especially in these times when it's quite uncertain what is going to happen with the energy bill at home and all the other bills. It's quite nice to know that if shit really hits the fan, you can change to a very cheap car. So and of course it's more fun. I can also use a bit more videos here, or make more videos on this channel with different cars. So but I'm going to leave you there with a cliffhanger. I'm not going to tell you which car it is. The day after tomorrow I'm getting it, and then in the next vlog you'll see what kind of car that one will be. So that's it for now, and it's bye bye 116d. Have a good one. So I'm on the last kilometers that I'm driving with the 1 Series. Opposed to the previous clips yesterday, I did another 450 kilometers roundabouts, so I just managed to get to 213,000 kilometers on this 1 Series. Didn't expect to hold that the three-cylinder engine would hold up that long, and then I have to let it go after more than 3 years, and it's just a tad sad. But obviously tomorrow there will be a new car anyway, as according to plan, if everything runs according to plan. And then yeah, it's over after this affair. So let's see what happens tomorrow. So now it's time to clean out all my stuff from this car and then hand it in and put it into the next one. Some clothing, one giant penguin, and luckily I can store it all in the 3 Series. Let's see what's in the back. Quite some more junk to clean out. And just now you remember how easy or how handy it is to have a second car where you can store all your stuff in, for the moment at least. So these are the last hours of the 116D as it's standing in my driveway, and so to speak, we're closing the chapter on this book. And it's another black car, but this time of a different brand. More on this on the next video.